All right, things are starting to get a little crazy in a good way for the Denver Broncos. After the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft, it's becoming clear. Denver absolutely crushed it. Let's start with cornerback J.D. Barron, a player many now agree should have been a top 10 pick. The Broncos got him at number 20. That's a steal. Then there's R.J. Harvey, a powerful and explosive running back. Several teams reportedly had him ranked as the second best back in the class. Now he's headed to Denver, where he looks like a perfect fit in Sean Payton's offense. And don't sleep on Pat Bryant. That wide receiver pick starting to turn heads. Some are even comparing his upside to Michael Thomas. Big praise, but not far-fetched. Now here's where things get wild. There are a few players showing up to minicamp who, based on where they were drafted, shouldn't even be available to Denver. Yet somehow they are. Take R.J. Harvey, for example. Denver kept their interest quiet during the draft process. They didn't even bring him in for a top 30 visit. Classic move from Sean Payton and GM George Payton, who made it a point to keep things under wraps. NFL insiders later revealed Harvey was a favorite in their war room, their so-called pet cat. The meaning? Quiet interest, a hidden gem, and they got him. And this isn't new for the Broncos. Look at their recent history with finding talent at edge rusher without spending first-round picks. Baron Browning, taken late in the 3rd round. Jonathan Cooper, a 7th rounder who posted 10 sacks last season. Nick Bonito, technically a 3rd-round value. Even DeAndre Tillman, undrafted, recorded 5 sacks, 2 in 1 game. Now, they've done it again with a player few are talking about, but that won't last long. Meet Key Robinson out of Alabama. Denver landed him with what was essentially a 5th-round pick, late in the 4th. According to some draft analysts, this guy might be one of the biggest steals of the class. Even Nick Saban called him the best special teams player he ever coached. That's no small praise. And it gets better. Robinson played behind first-rounders like Dallas Turner, so he didn't get many snaps. But when he did, he flashed. Fast, twitchy, explosive, originally recruited as a safety, and you can see that athleticism in his film. He's only logged about 340 snaps, but the potential is obvious. Add him to a group that already includes Bonito, Cooper, and Jonah Ellis, and suddenly Denver's edge rusher room looks like it's overflowing with talent. Again, sleeper pick? Absolutely, but not for long. Quay Robinson might just be one of the most explosive edge rushers in this draft class. He's got the bend, the burst, and that rare ability to dip around the corner with power. He's already flashing the traits you want in a situational pass rusher from day one. Long arms, quick first step, and the flexibility to beat tackles off the edge. If Denver gets any defensive production from Robinson in year 1, beyond just special teams, it almost feels unfair. Just look at this defense. J.D. Barron locks down the slot. On the outside, there's Riley Moss on one side and arguably the best defensive player in the NFL on the other. Up front, you've got Zach Allen, John Franklin Myers, and Malcolm Roach clogging the interior. This unit has the potential to be the top defense in the league. At safety, Talanoa Hufanga holds it down. Inside linebackers, a healthy Alex Singleton and Dre Greenlaw bring speed and tenacity. This defense is built to dominate and keep offenses off the field. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, Bo Nix will be set up for long clock-chewing drives. With this kind of defense, he might barely leave the field. The Broncos are stacking talent everywhere, and it just keeps coming. Let's talk about a potential hidden gem from undrafted free agency, Xavier Truss. There were questions around character concerns and past transfers, but there's no denying the upside. Truss is massive, standing at 6 feet 7 inches, 309 pounds. That height-to-weight ratio may have hurt his relative athletic score, RAS, but that's mostly due to minor timing differences in things like his 40-yard dash. It's not reflective of his actual play strength or technique. And here's the thing, Denver's current starting guard is only 307 pounds, so the size criticism, overblown, especially when you consider Truss has played over 1,800 career snaps on Georgia's offensive line, one of the most competitive and elite programs in college football. It's hard to hold a starting job at Georgia with the amount of talent they cycle through. Truss did it. That says something. Denver's offensive line coach, Zach Strief, now has a raw but experienced lineman to work with, one who could eventually step in at center, given that Lloyd Cushenberry is entering the final year of his contract. Add Trust to a group that already includes Garrett Bowles, Frank Crum, and Ben Powers, and you've got serious depth. The film backs it up too. One clip even shows Trust handling Key Robinson. Yes, the same explosive pass rusher Denver just drafted. Trust stays square, absorbs the rush, and keeps his quarterback upright. Another play, he takes on multiple defenders and neutralizes the entire side of the defensive front. These aren't reps against mid-major schools. This is SEC level talent. This is exactly the kind of lineman Sean Payton values. Smart, strong, and battle-tested. If developed right, Trust could be one of the biggest steals of Denver's rookie class. Good luck getting past this offensive line. The Broncos were one of the healthiest O-lines in the NFL last season, and we kept the same group together for nearly the entire year, something very few teams managed. But even if one of our starters goes down, I feel confident in the depth we've built. Xavier Truss and Frank Crum are waiting in the wings. Both are young, talented, and developing fast. Truss, especially, is looking like a serious gem. And Crum, well, he's living his best life courtside at Nuggets games while prepping for his next shot at the field. It's a good time to be a Bronco. Keep in mind, we were the second youngest team in the NFL last year. And somehow we keep adding talent with sky-high ceilings. The development curve on this roster is exciting. Minicamp is almost here, and I want to hear from you. Which player are you most excited to see in that new orange and blue? One more thing before we wrap up. It's been interesting how quiet the Broncos have been in free agency after a few early moves. Yes, we made a splash signing Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, and Evan Engram, but after that, things slowed down. Compare that to last year when we grabbed Josh Reynolds around the draft. So could another late move be coming? A great article by Sayer Bettinger on predominantly orange breaks down potential targets. Here are a few. J.K. Dobbins is still out there. Nick Chubb is recovering from injury but could become available. And Breece Hall, that's a name that stands out. If the Jets are willing to talk trade, he'd be a major addition, though I don't think we're desperate. With R.J. Harvey fitting so well into Sean Payton's plans, I'm not sure we need to make a move at all. Another name floating around is Mark Andrews, the Ravens' star tight end. He had that tough drop in a key game against the Bills. Gloves soaked, thought about taking them off, didn't, and it cost Baltimore big. But even so, adding a player of his caliber next to Evan Engram would definitely upgrade the tight end room. And finally, there's Christian Watson. The Packers just drafted Matthew Golden, and with Watson injured and not expected to start the season, is Green Bay ready to move on? Maybe. But again, I'm really happy with our current wide receiver group.